Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, this is live now. Okay. So, hello everyone, and welcome to this special series brought to you by Inflame Medical Magazine. And this series is basically Topper's Talk. And today I'm really privileged to introduce you all to our chief guest, that is Dr. Amartya Sengupta, sir. And this talk is presented to you by Inflame Medical Magazine in association with MedExplore Medical Conference and in association with Federation of Medical Students Association and Medicos United. So let's just hear it from Dr. Amartya Sengupta right away with his introduction. And definitely you all know that he has achieved AIR 1 in INICET 2021. So over to you, sir.
Yeah, hello. So
First
again,
of all,
hi.
Congratulations to you for securing this rank. And
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. Yeah, so like, hi everyone. Like as already been introduced by my lovely host, I'm Dr. Amartya Sengupta. I have secured rank 1 in this July INICET 2021 session. And to give some background info, I would say I am from West Bengal, Kolkata. I have completed my MBBS from Medical College, Kolkata, and I just completed my internship in the month of March this year. And so this was my first attempt at any major competitive exam. And yeah, I'd say and thankfully, I have just finally crossed the line, and there we go, of residency.
Great, sir. So first of all, congratulations again for securing this rank. And after knowing that you are AIR 1, like what were your feelings and how did you feel about the same? And did you actually believe that you are AIR 1? Did you actually expect the thing, or it was a shocking revelation?
Again with the generic answers, obviously it was, I would say, a miss. I will I mean, it's very difficult to quantify, right? So I would say, yeah, it was a general mix of, shock, definitely, but at the same time also delight, right? Like finally, seeing your, years of preparation and hard work, finally pay off. So yeah, it was a mix of, disbelief, but at the same time, I would say the feeling was really overwhelming. So and definitely, as usual, like you check your results multiple times, so that was the same for so for me as well. So after a couple of times, I sort of realized that okay, this is happening. Like wow, and yeah, there we go.
Yeah. So like usually what happens is, you do not believe on your own preparation and you feel like you cannot be AIR 1. So did that happen with you too? Like it was very unexpected, or you expected somewhere like your preparation was up to the mark, or, you
Yeah,
actually know
I get
to
it.
stand, right?
Like I would say, yeah, I was like more or less sure that I would get a decent rank. A rank enough to get a seat of my choice. So like anything beyond that, I would consider it to be just like a gift, or maybe collateral damage, you can call it. So like nobody expects a AIR 1. Okay, like that's far fetched. Nobody even thinks about that digit per se. So again, so I did not expect like as usual, but I did expect a decent rank, which was which would be enough to give me the seat of my choice. So and obviously like getting that that like rank 1, that just supersedes everything.
Okay, sounds cool. Another thing, like, what are your future plans? What do you want to pursue as your postgrad?
Yeah, like again, it's actually, I still have a couple of days like to finally put my choices in the counseling. So like as of now, it's surgery definitely, no matter what. I would say surgery as of now. Like as of now, I would say general surgery. Like I still have a couple of days to think whether I will like opt for neurosurgery or not. I'm still trying to make my mind about it. Okay, but as of now, it's a general surgery, and let's see what happens after that. But I definitely like as of now, I want to be a neurosurgeon in the future. So like that's that.
Okay. So, what motivated you to actually choose medicine as a career? And you actually wanted to be a doctor from start, or when did
Mm,
this all start? There's
like
a
okay,
particular
like
start to the
so
journey. So,
yeah. Yeah. So to answer that, I would say I mean my uncle is a doctor himself. He's a dermatologist, and like so like having a doctor in your family, like like you at least have something to look forward to. So with that, I would say like that was just the beginning. But as time flew by, I slowly began to understand like the implications and all. But I like decided to choose medicine anyway. So I would say, yeah, I always wanted to be a doctor right from the start. Like nobody told me to be one. No, literally nobody told me to be one. So they were like, why are you, choosing such a difficult stream? Like, like okay, no matter. Like I, want to pursue this because I think I have a passion for it. So and, with that, I cleared my UG entrance exams and then got into medicine.
okay, sounds interesting. Very unusual of starting a career.
Yeah,
Anyway, so also, is this your first attempt in INICET?
yeah,
And
yeah.
when you start preparing for it?
Mm-hmm. Sure, sure. Like, so this was my first attempt at anything, any competitive exam for that matter. So that's that. And like again, when it comes to the preparation, I would say for the exam per se, like focus preparation for the exam, I would say like it started right, at the start of my internship, I would say. So maybe February to March 2020, I suppose. Yeah. So that was the exact period I would say when my focused preparation for this exam started. I would say.
So, like, how did you go about the preparation? Because you were also having internship, as you mentioned.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
it must be difficult,
So
right?
yeah, definitely. Like and like ours was a special case because I mean I was able to enjoy the first 2 months of my internship. It was actually my general surgery patient, and after that, COVID and like it sort of ruined everything. It's still going on. So again, so my internship it turned into a mess. I would say like you have to shuffle between your COVID duties and non-COVID duties, and like my college per se was like it still is the state nodal center for COVID cases in my state. So you can very well imagine like I had to be in a PPE for like 6 hours for. I mean, I would say all of my major postings had a stipulated period of COVID postings in them, along with the usual non-COVID postings as is a part of the mandatory rotary internship. So like I had to fulfill all of them at the same time. Like, and it was, I would say, a bit stressful, but at the same time, I would also say that I got to learn what is all required from internship. At the same time, I was right in the midst of such a pandemic, like which comes in like only once in 100 years. So I'd say it was a unique experience, something which I don't want to go through again. But again, I mean, I would say definitely pretty life changing. I would say. So with that, I would say to juggle time between that and then get back to your books, right? So, I mean, I used to get roughly 4 hours or so, like 3 to 4 hours max per day to go about my preparation. And so I used to, utilize that pretty seriously, like reading the notes, whatever I had made, reading like a few like excerpts from few books, which like I had already marked during my MBBS during my professional examinations, and practicing MCQs. Just like for me, I would say the like I devoted 40% of my time to theory and like 60% of my time to practicing MCQs and GTs. So that's a bit atypical, but like that's how like it goes for me. I like prefer to solve stuff rather than keep on like reading things again and again the same thing. So like that was my style, I would say. So again, like it helped me because like it saved a lot of time as well. Because I mean, I used to read very concise topics and very from whatever I had prepared beforehand. I don't really like note things down a lot. Like that is not how I do stuff. But like I just note down the important things, I would say, like which I feel are important from a personal point of view. I just I used to revise that along with a few like pages from the books here and there. So that saved a lot of time. And again, it also gave me a lot of time to practice the MCQs and practice the GTs. So I would say it's better to devote at least 3 to 4 hours of like focus study time for your entrance exams, even after you're done with the duties and you're all fresh once you get home. So I would definitely say like just keep that habit of just opening your books at least once a day after all your duties. Just push yourself. Just like ask yourself to do that one extra thing after after you get back from your postings and you get fresh and on. So I would say just instill the discipline, and that would help you a lot.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So definitely a wonderful point mentioned to you that you devoted 40% of your time on reading the theory while you implemented 60% of your time to MCQs, which might
Yeah.
be a major game changer.
Yeah, I would say that.
Okay. So my next question to you would be, because as you mentioned, like in March 2020, the lockdown was announced. So what were your strategies and method preparation or schedule when you were starting your preparation during February, as you mentioned, and after, announcing of the lockdown in March 2020?
I would say it didn't change much. Like, so like my personal preference is that I like start with a short subject, right? I mean, not just the 4 short subjects you read in your final year. I would include Optha and the ENT and FSM maybe in that as well. So I used to start with these like small subjects, so that I mean these are very high yield subjects as well, and you don't really like. I mean, if you know like a good deal about the particular topic or particular subject, like you're like bound to get through at least 70 to 80% of the questions in your exam. So I targeted my short subjects first, I would say, right? And so after that, I like focused on the pre-clinical and the paraclinical subjects. Like the paraclinical subjects mainly your pathopharma, microbiology mainly. After that, I focused on PSM, and followed by that, I would say I devoted some amount of time for my like first year subjects. Like not everything, I would say physiology mainly and a bit of biochemistry, especially on molecular biology and inborn errors of metabolism, that part. And for anatomy, I would say mainly the cadaveric dissection images um, and relevant surgical anatomy, I would say. And after that, I moved on to my final year subjects to finish things. And after that, like I started with revising the 19 subjects again. So I would say not much of a change in my like schedule so far as like the pandemic was concerned. So I would say it was constant more or less throughout. I would say that. Yeah.
Okay, so as you mentioned that you first focus on short subjects and try to complete that, then preclinical and then clinical and then the first year cadaveric images. That was your whole thing. But what
Right.
was your daily routine? Like you mentioned, you were doing internships. So how did you actually utilize your 4 hours? Like how did you actually divide them?
So okay, so my internship duty was like from 9 to 6 maybe or 9 to 4, depending upon like whether it was an ad day or a non-ad day. If it were to be an ad day, like admission day we call it would be like 36 hours. Okay, 36 hours of the strength. So like during the admission days, it was not possible to read. And it's like you shouldn't even like open your books while you're like postings. I would say that's not a good thing to do. Like try to enjoy your internship, try to appreciate what's going on, try to learn, try to observe. That I mean, as doctors, we should always observe, right? Try to pick up things like from our immediate vicinity, I would say. So I didn't read while I was like on my postings during my duty. So after that, like when I got home, I mean, I freshened up a bit, and so for the 4 hours, I would say, like again, like I said, I already had like concise stuff in my notebooks or like the pages marked out of the books which like I was supposed to read for the particular subject during my preparation. So the content was very like doable for me, I would say. Okay, and I try to read stuff a bit fast. Okay, so that is just like how I read. I read stuff a bit fast. Okay, so and fast like I mean I should say that this has actually helped me a lot. Like each, I mean, okay, slow reading and all, trying to understand the concepts and everything is okay. I get it. Like, but at the same time, you should not like there is hardly any difference between like reading the same page for like an hour or like, but again, reading this like doing the same thing in just maybe 15 minutes. Rather, I would say like no matter how slow you might read, there is always this limit to which you can retain stuff. So don't focus on that much. Try to read a bit fast. Try to appreciate. Try to develop that habit. It is not easy initially, but it sort of develops after a while. So I used to practice somewhat like that to increase my reading skills a bit. And after that, like once I got that I would say rhythm, things became a lot easier and faster for me, right? So again, so I had those 4 hours. Like for the short subjects, I would focus on the first of all the basic stuff first, and then move on to the conceptual and like extra topics. And to end it all, I would like just read the charts where you get all the volatile and like factual information. So I would like end things with them. Okay. And again, like I would say I used to like randomly like pick up like these volatile topics which I had in my mind on every third day, and just like give a like quick go through the entire thing. And so that helped me like retain stuff for a longer period of time, right? So that was that. Just like, and for short subjects, I like kept maximum 2 days, max 2 to 3 days initially. Like there's no harm if you like devote 3 days to a small subject initially. So I used to do that, and like during my revisions, I would keep only one single day for the short subjects. Okay, so that's
So that is
like yeah. So far
so
as the
that
short
is
subjects are
3 days
concerned,
a week.
exactly.
3 days a week for short subjects, and
Yeah, yeah.
when
Yeah,
you
I
were
mean
doing
3 days.
revision work,
Yeah,
yeah.
like 3 days a week for the short subjects. Like, and after you're done with the short subject, you just move on to the other. Okay, that's all. And that is like during the first reading, and during your like revision, just cut it down to maybe 1 to 1.5 days. That should do. Yeah.
Okay, so by when you decided that you want to revise the thing?
After
You
like I
know,
was done with my yeah. After like I was done with my first revision, and like if you're talking about the volatile stuff, I would say like it was a personal thing. Like to me, like stuff which was a bit difficult to retain, I just randomly pick like a topic or so, like on every third day. It was, I would say, devote half an hour for that to revise the volatile stuff. That is like just my strategy. So I would devote like half an hour to revise volatile stuff every day. So again, the topics like I would pick up were random, I would say. So that was just an add-on, an extra edge thing I used to do just for myself. So that didn't have much of a bearing on my overall preparation schedule, I would say. So after I was done with my just one reading of the all of the 19 subjects, I would say it was around July end, I would say, like July or maybe August end, I would say. And then after that, like I started the revision and all. And during my revisions, I again mainly focused on the grand tests and the key banks to to help me revise faster. Yeah.
okay, so you started your preparation in February 2020, and it
Mm-hmm.
was ended somewhere near July or August 2020. So it was
Yeah.
just 6 months. So
Mm-hmm.
during this 6 months, you covered 19 subjects. So did you focus
Mm-hmm.
only on high yield topics, or you had like you also must have given your university exams? You already schemed the topics through. So you
Yeah,
decided that this
definitely.
were the topics that I want to read during your university exams, or
Mm-hmm.
it was after your internship?
I'm not really like, I mean, I used to take my university exams a bit seriously, because I think like if you're prepared well enough for one, like if you know your stuff, you like it's not necessary for you to like do the same thing again for different examinations. Just be concrete in whatever you read, and just read the entire thing, or maybe like be strong at any particular subject right from the get go. Okay. So I would say that like preparing for my university exams properly, I used to like prepare for like from my exams pretty well. No, I used to read my standard books, or I mean not so standard books, for my university exams, I would say. So, but whatever I did, I made sure that I was thorough in them. Okay, so I think that really gave me an important impetus or an important boost to to finally like streamline what I was supposed to revise and read again during my internship. I would say that. So my MBBS study schedule actually helped me in ease narrowing things down during my internship, I would say.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So,
again, so I would say like I would say to sum up, I didn't, I was not picky initially during my MBBS. I read all like there was to be read at that particular point of time. I went through my entire curriculum very seriously and very meticulously. I didn't miss out on any single topic. I didn't leave any topic out while I during my MBBS. So I would say I went through the entire course, I would say. And then during my internship, I focused only on things which were, again, I focused on basics. At the same time, I focused on the high yield and extra stuff as well. So I would say it was a decently balanced approach I would keep all the time. Okay. So never miss out on your basics, but again, to gain some leverage, just add a few volatile extra stuff during your internship for preparation.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah.
So as you mentioned that you took your university exams also very seriously. So there are a lot of students who just focus on, example me as well. We just
It's
focus
okay.
on important questions, and we
Yeah,
rather skip the theory part, which is having a lot of things, and we do not
Mm-hmm.
actually get that into head. But when it comes to important
Mm-hmm.
topics, we read it very seriously because they're very
Mm-hmm.
important from
Mm-hmm.
university perspective.
Definitely.
So do you think
Definitely.
only reading those important topics on while giving your university exams is only sufficient, or you think you must go through the entire book? Like, is it possible?
I mean, first of all, like the main like motive of the university exams. I mean, I would say it's just to pass. Okay, like everybody does that. Even like make sure that you are getting approximately 50% in your exams, and then try to improve on that. So I would say passing is definitely the main thing of like it's the main goal of any university exam. Yeah, so, but apart from that, I would say like that's the usual rule. We all try to pass initially. Otherwise, like without passing, like you can't progress further. So focus on like all of the basic stuff you need to pass definitely, but that should be like very well in your like on your fingertips. Okay. After that, I mean, it's never possible to like go through the entire textbook. Again, like I said, I read not so standard textbooks. I would say like they were easy to finish, and they used to give me sort of a like good glimpse like throughout the entire like for a good glimpse of the entire like material I was supposed to read. So I would say that I use those not so standard like books to go through the entire like syllabus, and then again I focused on my past papers. Like we have this book called Quest, okay, or like I was registered to the West Bengal University of Health Sciences, so yeah, like it was a compilation of the past papers. So I used to do that, like the regular stuff, which we all do. Okay, so again, yeah, definitely don't miss out on the important and the basic stuff. But at the same time, if like initially, like at the start of the year, okay, if you just work a bit hard, okay, just work a bit hard, just try to get things like in your control. Just try to finish the syllabus a bit early, okay, so that towards the end you are all relaxed. You can like you don't have this this inner uh, constant I would say darkness, okay, like something's chasing after you, like you have to pass and all. There's no anxiety as such of passing towards the end of the year. So I would say start early, okay, like make sure like things are somewhat under your control, and then for the rest of the year you can just relax, sit back and revise what you have learned. So I would say do that, start early, work hard in the initial phases, and then like enjoy for the rest of the time.
Okay. We'll surely try to apply.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so you were really an obedient student, as I can see, because you prepared for university really well.
um
So,
Not obedient exactly. It's like it's just like I'm a bit of perfectionist. Like it was not for anybody. It was just for myself only. Like because like I'm the only person to gain from it all, and I'm the only person to lose it all if I'm not focused on it. So it was just up to me. It's the stark reality of life. Okay, you do these things for yourself. Okay, you're not doing this for anybody else. So
yeah,
make
yeah,
sure you
definitely.
don't cheat yourself. Make sure you don't cheat yourself, and make sure you give yourself the best. Okay? Because that's what you deserve. That's what like each and every one of us deserve. Okay? Like be the best version of yourself all the time. I would say that like as much as possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as you were, you have mentioned it a lot of times, not so standard
Mm.
books. So what were
Yeah.
those not so standard books which even make you
Okay.
follow?
Yes. For pharma, obviously it is Shanbag, no doubt about that. Okay,
Same
no
here.
doubt about that.
I
Yeah,
have it lying
we all
right
did
by my
Shanbag. I
side.
mean, our professors hate it, but we love it. Okay, there's you can't hide it. Okay, so for sure, like after that, if you
So not going
yeah,
for KDP is not a crime.
no, yeah, definitely it's not a crime. Like if you like know everything, if you know everything that's there in that Shanbag book, I think you can definitely pass like
Mhm.
university exams, and you can even get
Definitely.
distinction you can even get distinction, like if you follow your class, like college classes properly as well, like because the PDFs your professors provide you with, they all contain information from the standard textbooks. And I think if you read that, that is sufficient. But at the same time, I would not say like entirely missing out on KAT. Don't do that. That is a bit risky as well, because sometimes the professors ask questions which are only mentioned in KTT. Okay, like typical questions to check whether you read KTT or not. Okay, that's a strategy they use. Like, so again,
Yeah,
just
so that
read.
can be done by going through the previous year
Yeah,
questions. Is that so?
exactly, absolutely,
Okay, yeah.
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. You can do that. Just like cut things down. Like
Mhm.
just read the very important stuff from KDT. That's all. Don't read everything from KDT, and focus on your Shanbar. Like read everything
Okay.
that's there in Shanbar. Okay, but you have to read everything that's there in Shanbar. It's maybe like 200,
Got it,
300
got it.
pages of book. Yeah,
So do
follow
not
that,
skip
and
anything from the non-standard books.
yeah, that is important actually. When you're doing the
Okay.
non-standard books, don't skip anything. Okay, because like it's all the important info that's provided in these books. Okay, they don't add unnecessary gibberish, like unnecessary gibberish in them. So follow them to the last page, because they're not that difficult to finish if your strategy is good and if you start early. But again, leave those standard reference books only for the important stuff. I mean, not much.
Okay, so what about, okay, I'll take the name of the
Yeah,
subject and you can tell me the
and
book.
I'll
So it will
sure,
be
sure,
easier
that's
for
good.
our audiences. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
So anatomy.
Anatomy, I would say, was an exception for me. I read Dr. A.K. Datta's book. I think it's I mean, it's very well known in West Bengal, and it's also a standard book in in Pan India as well. I would say so. That is not that easy to read, but it's definitely not Grey's Anatomy. So I would say for that, I read AKD. AKD is, I would say, the best anatomy book that's there in the market. But nowadays, like I would say, you can definitely go for Vishram Singh. Just
Yeah.
one book, go for Vishram Singh, nothing else.
Okay.
And
But
even if you can't finish Vishram Singh, go for BD Chaurasi, obviously. There's no doubt about that. Number one, I would say Vishram Singh overall. Yeah.
okay. So the first preference is Vishram Singh and then BDC.
Yes, definitely.
Physiology.
I read Dr. Devashish Pramanik's book. He was like our college's HOD at one point of time. So that's a local book, I would say, but it's a very good book. It's like if you read it, it's really good. I would say like it has everything from Ganong and Gatan in it, and it's very easy to read and memorize as well. And the concepts are also explained more or less in a lucid language. So I would say Dr. Devashish Pramanik's book for physiology, and for the peeps from the other states, I would say I don't know what do people read. Do you read Sembulingam?
AK and Sembulingam.
AK
Yeah.
Jain, Sembulingam, yeah. So I would say AK Jain is better than Sembulingam. I would say so. Go for that, and keep, I would say, Ganong with you. Okay, just keep Ganong for the text, like for the factual stuff, for all the facts and all. But that's that. Don't like read. I mean, again, this is actually a bit controversial. Like, I'm urging you not to read the standard books, but I will be very practical. Okay, like I mean,
Definitely for
okay,
students who are really average, I think.
not average. There's like I would say nobody's average here. Okay, it's just like it depends on the amount of effort we put in. Okay, there's nobody's average. We're all good students. Like
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
everybody.
In terms of language, I meant.
Yeah, you can say that. So
Yeah.
yeah, again, these high and mighty standard textbooks, they're actually a bit difficult to master. Okay, and definitely difficult to remember. So go for your not so standard books and keep only these standard books for a bit of maybe referencing, not more than that. Okay, so again, Jain, I would say AK Jain, prefer AK Jain for Sembulingam for physiology. For biochemistry, I would say Dr. Vasudevan's book, definitely, and Lippincott. Okay, these are the two
What
books you should
about
read for Vasudevan. Okay, and
Satyanarayan?
no, this is something which I like. I would ask you to refrain from, because Satyanarayan is not liked by a lot of professors. In fact, it's not liked by anybody. You don't know why. I did
I read
interact with Dr.
Satyanarayan.
I have also interacted with Dr. Satyanarayan himself. Okay, like during the LCVA quiz. So I stood first in the LCVA quiz, and I've interacted with him myself. Okay, so yeah. His book is really good. It's very lucid, I would say. But for some reason, I don't know why. Like the professors don't really like it, because I would say it's too easy. I would say it's too easy for the student. It gives the student an extra edge, and they answered all the questions and all. I don't know why. But
So for
okay.
competitive exams, you think Vasudevan is better?
Yeah, Vasudevan, and if I mean, I'm not asking you, like, I'm not forcing you to read Harper because it's very difficult. You might opt for a few, like those. I mean, Harper has really like good, I mean, tables, okay, and charts where all the key points, all like the summary of the entire chapter and maybe summary of the entire topic, it's written down in those boxes. Okay, so you can
So
follow
where do you find
Harper
this
for.
charts and tables?
It's literally in Harper. I would say, okay, it is in Harper itself. In every, I mean,
In?
in every chapter in Harper itself. Okay, it
Okay.
is in Harper. Okay, so just open the topic which you want to read, and in that particular chapter, you will find, like, in that chapter itself. Okay, within that chapter itself, they have made those boxes. Okay, where they
Mhm.
list down the important stuff from that particular chapter. So if you
Okay.
follow that, if you follow the tables in the chapter, that's more than sufficient. Okay, again, that comes at the end. Okay, so
Mhm.
start with Vasudevan and Lippincott. I think these are the two books which you should read for biochemistry. It's better. And obviously, if you're comfortable with Satyanarayan, there's no problem, just go for it. No issues. I didn't personally read Satyanarayan, but definitely go for whichever book is like easy for you to grasp. Okay?
Mhm. So,
And next is,
when
go ahead.
you mentioned about this charts and tables, that
Mm-hmm.
struck my mind, and I
Mm-hmm.
am with another question. If you
Mm.
want to just
Yeah.
read or revise something, for example,
Mm.
you're done with your all the 19 subjects you have once looked at
Yeah.
every subject, in
Yeah.
particular the important topics.
Mm-hmm.
So now when you want to revise, there are a lot of books which has compilation of charts and tables, and specifically for
Mm-hmm.
a day before exam or 3 days before exam. So
Mm-hmm.
what are this kind of books, and any books that you would refer, which you referred in your
Okay.
preparation?
For in the first year, I would say I didn't use these books quite a lot. Okay, in the first year, I mean, I had bookmarks. Okay, so I used
Mm-hmm.
bookmarks for them, for these like charts and topics. So I could, just readily go to the topic whenever I need. But in the second year, I would say I would like in the second year, I'm coming to the point. For pharmacology, I used to read Dr. Govind Dirk's book. Okay, for
Mm-hmm.
pharmacology review, I read that. And
So
for
the review
patho,
book,
but yeah,
the review book, yeah,
yeah,
the
the
review book
pharmacology
by
review book.
Govind sir.
Yeah,
Okay.
Dr. Dirk's book. So I read that for pharmacology. Okay. For pathology, I would say I read Gitika Khanna, Dr. Gitika Khanna's book. Okay. I'm not sure if you have heard of the book's name. I mean, it's a very good,
I haven't.
like, yeah, Dr. Gitika Khanna. I mean, it's a very good, I mean, it's a very concise review of Robbins. Okay. So it has everything you need to, just go through once before the exam. So I would say that. So Dr. Gitika Khanna's book for pathology. Okay. And when it comes to microbiology, I would say, I mean, you can read Panikkar, you can read Dr. Babeja's book, okay, either of the two. And also, there is this book named Prep Manual for Microbiology by Dr. Nagova, I think. Okay, so you can definitely use this book for a quick revision before your exams. So Dr. Nagoba's book for microbio, Dr. Gideon Khanna's book for, I would say, pathology, and Dr. Govind Garg's book for pharmacology. And for FSM, again, it's a short subject. I don't know, like
Ready?
like I used to, yeah, I
It's
mean,
not
Reddy,
ready.
personally, no, I have not read Reddy, I would say. I have definitely
Okay.
not read Reddy. I mean, I would say rather Dr. Agarwal's book is actually very good. Okay, it's written in a very lucid language. It's vast, I would say, but nonetheless, it's easy to read. So, if you like, if you were to follow one single book for forensics, I would go for Dr. Agarwal's book. That's the best in the market, and it's very easy to read as well. Okay, so go for that for episode. And now you're moving on to the like pre-final subjects, right?
PSM.
Opta, yeah, Opta, PSM, and ENT. So for PSM, I used to read Dr. Vivek Jain's book, as is the case with almost everybody. And apart from that, I also read Dr. D.K. Taneja's book. Okay, it is a book which has, I mean, the updates on all the national programs and all, and also about epidemiology and all. So for that, Dr. Vivek Jain's book along with Dr. D.K. Taneja's book is sufficient, I would say. And if you were to add, you can like add those past paper books, whatever is in the store for you in your state. Go for that. And definitely keep park. I'm not saying don't open park. I mean, just do the basic minimum which is required from park. Okay, but I mean, just the basic minimum, just like things which are repeated in your um, entrance exams and all. Those very factual stuff, like I mean environment and all, I would say, or
Mhm.
like the initial chapters. Okay, epidemiology, I would say for epidemiology, go through part once, definitely don't miss out on that. But apart from that, Dr. Vivek Jain's book and Dr. DK Taneja's book is more than sufficient for PS. Now, for Optha, I would say just read one book, Dr. A.K. Khurana's book, that's more than enough. Okay, Dr. A.K. Khurana, and for ENT, I would say Dr. Neeraj's book is again more than sufficient, and nothing else is needed. I just followed these only. And again, nowadays we have lots of, I mean, I think it was yeah, there's a MCQ book by Dr. Manisha Budhiraja ma'am, I would say. Triple E. It's a triple E series, I would say. I'm not sure about the book's name. Some triple E ENT MCQs. I think that's the name, something like that. So again, it's a good book. It's a short book. You can revise the stuff from there as well. So that's that. Now moving on to the final year subjects. Okay. So for medicine, I followed Dr. Archit Bulut's textbook. Okay, it's a good book. It's a very good book. You follow that. Apart from that, I mean, there's this book known as Dr. George Matthews. Have you heard of the book's name? Have you heard
Yeah,
of it?
yeah, I did.
Yeah, definitely. So again,
Mhm.
that's another weapon you can use. Okay. So apart from that, your past papers, there's this, you get your like compilation of the past papers and with question answers in your
Mhm.
like local markets as well. Um, Again, so like with these three gone, apart from that, I had Davidson. Yeah, I did have Davidson along with me, but again, just for the tables and important
Mhm.
algorithms. Okay? I did not touch
Mhm.
Harrison. I don't even have a Harrison. Okay, I don't have Harrison. No, I don't have that.
Okay.
I don't even have a PDF. That's the thing. I For that I
Mhm.
mainly relied on like my college classes. I would say like the PDFs which my professors used to provide me with, and it had all the necessary information from Harrison for a particular topic. So again, these four sources are sufficient for like clearing medicine. But I mean, for medicine, the theory is not that important. I would say the practicals. This is the most important part now. So how to clear your practicals? I think it is the most important part when it comes to like your final year subjects. It's easy to clear your theory, but it's a bit difficult to clear your practice, right? So for medicine, I used to follow Dr. A. Kundu's book. It's a very well-known book, okay, in clinics. It has everything that you need to pass, and also, if you can read it very well, if you can retain all the stuff in it, you can even get distinction just by reading that book only. So I would say Dr. A. Kundu's book, okay. Along with, you can keep a MacLeod or keep Hutchinson along with you. So that's more than sufficient for medicine, the practical part per se. Now for surgery, I read Dr. SRB's book, okay, review of surgery, and along
Mhm.
with that, to add to it, I did I like bought purchased Bailey very late. Okay, I just went through the important stuff through Bailey. It's not possible. I mean, Bailey, to be honest, it's not very updated. Okay, so the all the important updates they're not there in Bailey, but the lines are a bit important from for your like entrance point of view. But as such, you don't really need to read Bailey to clear your final professional examinations. So Dr. SRV's book is more than sufficient for anything. And even if you read his book like properly, okay, you can even clear your entrance exams with that, no problem at all. Okay, so this one book for your theory, and for pracs, I had Dr. S. Das's book and also Dr. Emil Shah's book. Okay, so he's a professor from SSKM. Okay, he's the HOD over there. So his book, along with Dr. S. Das's book, is sufficient for your practicals when it comes to surgery. Right. Now, for the obs and gynae, Dr. Liesbetter's book is more than sufficient. Okay, that's the only textbook you should read. And for pracs, we use Dr. Arup book personally. It's a very good book, I would say. If you like get Dr. Arup book on the market, definitely go for it. It's a very, very standard book. It's a very updated book for practicals. Okay, for obs as well as gynae. So that's that for gynae. No need to read anything else. I didn't bother opening Williams or anything. It's not for us. Okay. And
Mhm.
then for paid, just Dr. Obi Guy's book, more than sufficient. And like get a standard practical book along with that, whatever like goes, like whatever is like in your particular college. Okay. So for paid, I would say just one book is more than sufficient. That's Dr. Obi Guy's book. Okay, so that's I
Mhm.
think the comprehensive list. And for the short subjects, like mean, just do your past papers for the short subjects. I think that's more than sufficient, okay, to clear your final year.
Okay, so now we have the comprehensive list of all the books that you followed, your not so standard books. Now
Yeah.
coming on to how how you actually utilize these books, like you definitely must have read those in your university exams and
Yeah.
when you were doing your MBBS, right? So what
Absolutely.
about when you were preparing after
Mm-hmm.
you completed your MBBS and you started your internship? So were
Mm-hmm.
you following the same books or you changed your study material? Because everyone says that these books are not sufficient for your INICET or say NEET PG. So what do you have to say about it?
Not really, not really. I did not change anything. Okay, I did not change anything apart from the notes which I had. I think you understand.
Okay.
By like
From any particular institution, right? Okay.
right.
And what about, as you said, you were reading on a faster pace when you started
Mm-hmm.
your preparation because you were in your internship period, right? So you said that you also made some notes.
Yeah.
Like, were you
Right.
adding the important points which are not mentioned in your already given notes by a particular coaching, or you made your own notes out of the notes that you
Yeah.
were having?
I mean, I'm very lazy when it comes to making notes. Okay, so whatever like was whatever I was taught, I just made sure that was there. And the important stuff that was always there in my notebooks. Okay,
Mhm.
so again, like I'm like really grateful to that from my to my teachers. Okay, who have coached me about. So I think that that is something which you like that sort of having your notes, having made your own notes out of whatever has been taught. I think that gives you an extra edge because it helps you to revise things quickly. Okay. So again, just follow what all you have been following during MBBS. You don't really have to drastically change anything. You don't have to add new material. It's I mean, it's not. I would say it's not even recommended to randomly randomly change like what you have been reading for the past few years. Okay, because like it becomes difficult, to sort of grasp the entire thing all of a sudden. Like out of the blue, there is no like relation between like things and all. So don't change what you're like currently following. Stick to one particular like platform or whatever for stick to one particular platform. I would say for your content, maybe for your content, for what you have to read. Stick to one. Okay, don't like just shop around. Okay, that's I think that's not good. Okay, like trust whatever your teachers are teaching you. And for tests, I would say you can opt for multiple platforms. There is no absolutely there is no issue with that. Just respect that and go for it. Okay. And apart from that, again, whatever like for the books which you have been reading in the past, just stick to them. There's no issue. Like, there's no problem with that. Okay, because you're already supplementing them with your books, so it doesn't matter at all. So don't change. Don't go after like again standard books right before the examination that and just don't make a mess out of it. Okay, just be steady, be confident. Whatever you have read, that's enough. Okay, if you have read it properly, that's enough. There is no need to worry.
Okay. So, as you mentioned, you also, were going to some different, maybe a platform, a particular
Maybe a
platform
platform.
for your content,
Hmm.
right? So,
Hmm.
did you use those platform also when you were in your university, or you just started using it when you were in your internship?
I would say like it's easy to like in your final year it becomes easy. Like if you had have these notes ready, it becomes easy in your final year. So I would say like I followed them in my final year only, right from the final year. I would say just read the stuff to pass my exams. Okay, nothing more than that. Not like seriously thinking about
Were
PG.
those only notes or also the video lectures?
No, I did not watch any video lectures as such. You can understand, like, I mainly devote my time to offline coaching. Okay, that's all. I did not watch any other like video lectures or any material of that sort. Okay, so whatever notes I prepared out of like classroom teaching and all, I just read that. I just followed that. Along with yeah, I used the tests. Okay, the tests from multiple platforms. They were very like
Yeah,
each and
definitely
every
that
single
is important. Yeah.
yeah, each and every single platform has its own beauty. So with respect to all, okay, follow the tests and follow the content which you have been following. Okay, just stick to one platform for content and use other platforms for tests. No problem with that. Absolutely. Okay.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
one another thing that our viewers would also want to listen to, joining a coaching institute is a booster for giving such exams, or you can also prepare, at your home at the level of whatever you read in your MBBS. Or
It's actually very difficult, okay, to like answer this question right now, because had it been like 10 or 20 years back, you wouldn't even require a coaching seat. It's not even necessary. Because, like, personally, when I was in UG, I didn't opt for any coaching institute per se. I just took maybe what you call it, a distance learning program or something like that from one particular institute, and just that. I didn't even open the material from that also. I didn't follow any coaching during my UG days. Okay. For PG, I would say it will help. It will definitely give you an extra edge, I would say, because the content here is vast. Okay, it's not like what was there in your UG days. It's huge. The content is huge, and like with the like as you know, the time goes by, the competition is increasing. I mean, my juniors are like 10 times better than me. Okay, so I mean, I don't know. It's basically the generation shift with every passing generation. The wisdom, the IQ of the baseline IQ increases. Okay, so again, definitely in this particular context, when you're doing when you're applying, when you're about to appear for a PG exam, I think having a coaching definitely gives you that boost, because you don't know anything, you don't have to know everything. Okay, you just need someone, you need a mentor maybe to sort of streamline things for you, sort of guide you what to read and what not to read. So again, here comes the role of the institutes, and here comes the role of smart study, because I mean, again, it's definitely possible to get a rank just on your own. It mainly depends upon you. Okay, it mainly depends upon the student per se. That's very important because that's the baseline. But if you have an added guidance, that will definitely act as an extra edge, no doubt about that.
Okay. So, now we know about the books that you followed, the revision
Mm-hmm.
method that you followed.
Mm-hmm.
So did anything change when 1 month was left for INICET? Or
No,
you were
I
only
yeah, I would tell you, I will tell you what I did for the past like 30 days. Okay. So for 30 days, I focused on revising my notes just one last time. Okay. So it took me around 20 days to finish one revision of the notes. And then for the rest of the days, I had maybe 10 odd days left with me. I focused on COVID, all the COVID materials which like I had gathered. I just
Mhm.
focused on that, and also I focused on the past paper, because I said this is an extra edge for NICT. You must be thorough with your past papers when you're especially appearing for NICT, right? So I like critically analyzed all of the papers. Mainly, I would say the NICT November 2020 paper, along with maybe just the AIMS May 2020 paper. Okay, along with that, I also like solved one paper of PGI and maybe one paper of JIPMER, but not more than that. So mainly I revised the INICT and the AIMS papers, and that's that. I would say that's that. Nothing else. Just one revision of your notes, revise your past papers, and revise your COVID stuff. That is all.
Mhm. And what about your study hours? Did that increase or it was just the same?
Yeah, like I was also the emergency house staff, okay, in my college. So again, the duty was not that hectic. We just had 124 hours like in per week. So I did increase like for the last 30 days, since like I have to finish the entire thing in one day, one subject per one day. So I had to increase the study hours. Mainly I used to study for like 8 to 10 hours basically. Again, it was not like rigid. I did not like switch off my mobile or anything. I was always on the phone, chatting with my friends and all. Just just a bit relaxed but focused review of the entire thing nonetheless in like 8 to 10 hours. That was all I would say, not more than that.
And what about the one day before?
One day before, I did not do anything. I was on Netflix. Okay. Minus the chill part, but I was on Netflix all the time.
And
Yeah.
what about the exam day? Like,
Exam day, I would
how did
say.
you actually cope up with the exam stress or anxiety or anything? Did you face that on the exam day?
Not really, because I have taken at least, I would say, 70 run tests in the course of 1 year. So I did not like really feel like anything different. Okay. So I just went there, like I tried my best. I was like, let's try my best. Let's see what happens. There's like no
And
harm.
how was your
I have an EPG coming up, so I had no problem absolutely with that. Yeah.
okay? And what was your strategy for attempting the paper?
Hmm. Okay, like so my strategy was, I would say again, I like since my preparation was decent, I would say I went a bit aggressive. I attempted 198 to 199 questions maybe out of 200. Okay,
Mhm.
but they were not blind guesses. They were educated guesses, except a couple of blind guesses maybe. But Mostly they were educated guesses. Okay. So I would say like I didn't waste much time on a particular question where I like if I feel that this particular question is taking me more than 30 seconds, I used to skip that question, okay, and then come back to it a bit later. So I made sure that I was like finishing 50 questions in the first I would say 30 minutes. Okay, so like 50 questions in the first 30 minutes, and then again like reaching the 100 question mark maybe in like 1.5 hours. Okay, and then finishing your paper by like 2.5 hours. Okay, so that is something I would like want to focus on. Like try to finish 50 questions in the first 30 minutes. If you are able to do that, I think like you won't have any trouble finishing the paper. Okay, so from the get go, be a bit proactive, be a bit fast. Okay, don't waste much time on one particular question. Don't ponder over one particular question for a long period of time. So start a bit pacey and then adjust according to the needs of the people. And make sure you have at least half an hour to maybe 20 minutes to revise the entire thing before submitting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, lastly, what about your social media presence? Like, were you staying away from phone when you were preparing, or you were still using it? You were still communicating with your friends? How much
Yeah. I
amount of
was always on.
time? Yeah.
Okay, like that's actually tricky. I was always on my phone. Like I was always on WhatsApp. I'm not much of a Facebook user. I mean, use it for the memes and for football updates pretty much. Okay. But I'm always on WhatsApp. I'm always online. Like for 18 to
No
20 hours a day, I'm
restriction.
always online. No restrictions there. Like I had no problems with that because like I was at peace with myself. I knew what I had to do. So like these things were not a distraction for me at all. Okay. I mean, if you feel that these are distractions, then definitely try to stay away from them, switch off your phone and all. But personally for me, I don't like, I don't like to be so rigid in everything. Okay. I don't think like making a very gloomy atmosphere helps. So I was always on my phone interacting with my friends and all, chatting away and like just being normal. Okay. There's nothing extraordinary you have to like do to just just for the sake of I mean fulfilling your PG dreams days. You don't really have to like I mean be so rigid, be so I mean be military like. Okay, there's no really like there's no reason for that. That's absolutely. So I would say just I mean don't like switch off things permanently, but just I mean you can restrict like the screen time which you have on your phones, on your like social media apps. But again, just do everything in moderation. I would say that is more than enough.
And what about any tips or tricks that you applied for
Hmm.
avoiding negative markings or maybe guessing your
Yeah.
answers? Because you said
Yeah.
it were educational
Hmm.
guesses.
Yeah, right. So again, first of all, I mean, in most of the questions, you will find that two options are absolutely bizarre. Like they have, like again, you have to use your common sense as well. Like two options will be absolutely bizarre. Okay, like they will have no bearing on the topic and all mostly. And then when you're like when you have almost narrowed it down to two options per se, just try to like read those options very carefully. Okay, like look at the language, look at the info they're providing, and look at the adjectives. Okay, these adjectives are very important. Or maybe look for like terms such as not, such as never, exclusively, all the time, always. Like if you like find such embellished statements, okay, using very flamboyant flowery language all the time, I mean that might be the catch. Okay, that might be the wrong option there. So again, at the same time, I mean don't forget about your common sense. Okay, I would say. I mean also apply that when you're like looking at a question. Think whether I mean something's possible or not, especially when it comes to practical questions like stuff you do during your internship, or maybe I mean instructions related to a particular drug or something. So always keep in mind that I mean the stuff they're asking is definitely logical. So try to find out the logic in those statements and try to find out the bizarre stuff in a particular statement. I would say these are the two words: try to find logic and try to find the bizarre stuff. So if you like sort of like this comes with practice again. So with practice, you will be able to like finally develop. You will be developing that instinct that like once you look at a statement, you will find out what's wrong with that. So that comes with practice. Okay, so keep on practicing. That is the most important tip I would say.
Okay. So out of this 200 questions that you attempted, right?
Yeah,
So how
yeah.
many questions were like these are
Hmm.
absolutely something that I know,
Hmm.
and how many questions
Hmm.
were something that
Yeah.
were confusing between two
Okay.
options?
Okay. So absolutely, I knew. I would say, like without even thinking, I would say I knew 155 questions. Okay, 155 to 160 odd questions. The rest, maybe the rest 40 questions. Out of these, I would say 25 were educated guesses, and the remaining, I would say 10 blind guesses, maybe 10 to 20 blind guesses, maybe. I mean, they're not that blind. They had maybe a 25% probability of being correct. So, and the other educated guesses, by educated, I mean like you almost have a 50% chance of getting it correct. Okay. So that's that. So at one go, I would say 155 questions. And for the rest, maybe educated guesses and a bit of blind guesses also.
Okay. So do you think
Yeah.
attempting all the questions is necessary to obtain
No.
uh, a good rank?
No. Again, no. Again, like I said, it is very like I mean, it depends upon your your preparation. Okay, you can individualize stuff. Okay, depending upon like your preparation, like how you feel the paper is. Don't don't have this fixed notion in your head that you have to attend this number of this quota of questions in your test. Okay, be flexible. Like look at the paper. If you find that the paper is tough, if you personally find the paper is tough, it is tough. Okay, like don't after like you come out of the exam, like again, this is something which I've never shared. Okay, so after like coming out of the exam hall and like when I like switched on my phone, there were so many posts. Okay, like oh my gosh, the paper was so easy. Yeah, I've cracked it. I've done this and that and whatnot. People were like shouting and like basically they were like celebrating even before the results. I was like, okay, was it that easy? I didn't think so. So again, I was like doubting myself. Like it's better to doubt yourself. Okay, it's better to be like, yeah, after like you're done with something, it's better to not give yourself, much hope, because like once you get it done, like the happiness will be like unbound. Okay, like if you get something which you're not expecting, that's the best, I would say. So again, like try to be humble after the exams and all. Like just wait it out till the results. And again, I was finding that a lot of people, like they were making a lot of noise like regarding the fact that the paper was easy and all. It was not easy. So like definitely don't be influenced by what other people are saying. Okay, about a particular paper or anything about the difficulty levels. If you find it difficult, it is difficult. Like period. There is no benchmark as such. So again, so like if you find the paper is difficult, try to avoid negative marking. Try to avoid questions which you feel you have no clue about. Okay, just don't touch them per se. Just don't do anything with them. So again, if the paper is tough, I would say 170 to 175. I mean, if the paper is tough, like literally tough, so 170 to 175 should be sufficient. Okay, but in an average standard paper, like if you are able to like hit 185 questions, it is like more than enough. It is more than enough. And again, I mean, if you are like during the test, you are unsure about a lot of options, a lot of questions, but if you are positive that what all you have attempted are correct, then I would say don't unnecessarily go over aggressive. Okay. So if you think that you have attempted 160 questions or maybe 150, 155, like properly, if you are almost sure about that, then maybe you can take I would say like uh, the lease of maybe 15 odd questions more, like apply your guesses on 15 more and then stop. Okay, so avoid this unnecessary overzealous marking of the questions. That is to be avoided. Just choose just customize things according to your own preparation. The ideal average standard may be 185 questions, but this can vary according to you. Okay.
Okay. So another thing that we, most oftenly hear is about clinical and integrated questions. So
Right.
how many questions were clinically and integrated questions you found in INICET
Okay.
2021? Yeah.
I mean,
And how
yeah,
did
the
you actually
integration.
try to attempt them? Because you
Okay.
said you were also busy with your internships and all. So did that help you with those clinical and
Hmm.
integrated questions?
Okay, like for INICET, one question they will always ask. I mean, it's the gauge of, what's the size of a glue? I mean, no, not glue. What's the size of a green and what's the size of a pink candle? Okay, that's the only thing they ask all the time. So again, like if you have done your internship, even if you have not opened your book, you say like 18 is for green and 20 is for pink. So that's that one question done from your internship completely. Apart from that, the others, as far as the integration is concerned, I would say, I mean, they have integrated the smaller subjects into the bigger ones. Okay. Like, for example, they've integrated radiology with medicine, or radiology with ENT and stuff like that. Okay. So there comes the integration. They have integrated maybe two or three, I mean, small subjects to a bigger one, say medicine. So, I mean, and now, like, when you're like attending such a question, just think about the parent, I mean, think about the major subject which is there. Okay.
Mhm.
Like, if and so if you know about your medicine, if you know your medicine properly, you will be able to answer like from that basic knowledge of, I mean, pathophysiology, or maybe like the basic understanding of the disease. From that, you will be able to answer with the integrated question. Okay. So again, never let go of the parent subject. Okay. Never let go of the like the main subject. Make sure that you have a decent understanding of the basics of the of the major subjects. If you do that, you just have to add a bit of technical and factual stuff to cover up the small subjects. So I would say approach like that. Think of the major subject and apply the rules, apply the knowledge what you know about that subject to that particular integrated question. That would help. And
Okay.
so don't and as far as the clinical stuff is concerned, at the end of the day they're asking a particular fact only. Okay, like again, it's if you know you know, if you don't know you don't know. So don't just don't like really get overstressed about that particular clinical term. Okay, it's basically what you have been reading, and it's basically the same as the previous years. They're just adding a few layers into the question. Maybe they're just lengthening the length of the question, just adding a bit of investigations into it all. But at the end of the day, the basic thing is the same. So don't be stressed about that. It's the same thing. They've just sort of tried to color like add some color to it. That's all.
Okay. So out of 200 questions, how many were the questions that you think were integrated or clinical based?
I would say. I mean, it's very difficult to like. I mean, from my memory, I would say 50 questions. 50 questions were well integrated. I would say 50 questions were well integrated. 40 questions were maybe like simple factual one-liners, and the rest were like intermediate. They were clinical, but they were not that integrated. Okay, they belong to the subject per se. So that would be, and also there were lots of image-based MCQs this time. Okay, the image-based photo was definitely a bit more. So again, that is also added to that data.
Great.
Yeah.
So lastly, any message that you want to give to our viewers who are going to appear for INICET 2022 or NEET PG 2021?
Yeah. So
And
like,
how about
I
your
mean,
preparation? Like, are you giving NEET PG 2021?
not really. I don't think I will be allowed. I mean, it depends upon my joining. Okay. Because
Mhm.
if my joining is a bit early, then I won't be able to give the exam. So as of now, I'm not like I'm most certainly I will not be appearing for the exam because
Mhm.
hopefully I'm done with it. Let's hope let's hope I'm done with it. Okay. So
Okay.
yeah, and apart from that, like I think there are 36 days left for me. I'm not sure about like is it 36? Maybe something like that. Okay. Maybe a month left for uni. Okay. So again, during this time, I would say like focus. Just make sure you like go through your notes very quickly. Just the basic important stuff once, and along with that, add to that your MCQs. Give one grand test per week. Okay, and keep your analysis like minimum like 4 hours max. Just focus on your wrongs at this part of time, and focus on your past papers. Focus on the NEET NEET PG 2020 paper, and apart from that, I would say just relax. That is the most important part. Okay, like don't feel pressurized all the time. That I mean, I know it's very difficult to say that. I mean, it's very difficult to actually enact that in our personal lives. But again, like think of the positives. We are all doctors by now. Okay, like that's certain. Nobody can take that away from us. So like think of all the opportunities you have in your life. I mean, even if you like, I mean, don't crack the first time, you can like definitely get a job, and we were paid really well. Okay, like my friends, they were sort of earning like more than 1 lakh maybe per month just by taking out jobs at private institutes and all. So again, there's so much to it. Okay, just don't just like stay rigid, stay fixated on one particular teaching entrance exam. Just breathe. I mean, you have a life. You're a doctor already. There's nothing else to lose. So just take it easy. Take it slowly. Okay, and think of it as a learning experience all the time. Okay, because you will, in the end, you will win. That is a must, and I'm pretty sure each and every single one of you like will do well in the future. That's an, I would say, inevitability. Okay, that's all.
Okay. And how about your friend circle? Like, were they amongst the toppers?
Yeah,
And yeah,
yeah,
if you
yeah.
were
So
having a
yeah.
friend circle you were preparing along with, because it is
Hmm.
often said that you need to have a good circle to,
Good circle.
achieve
Yeah,
higher. Yeah.
true, true, true. Like, I mean, yeah. So my this friend of mine, he's also ranked 27 in this session. Okay.
Mhm.
Subhajit, he's from my college. He's a friend of mine. Like we used to sit like next to each other during the professional examinations and semesters, and I used to copy from him and stuff, and vice versa. Okay.
Mhm.
So he's also ranked 27, and apart from that, a couple of my batchmates they've also like secured 80 and 84 in this session in INICET. And apart from that, I have lots of other batchmates who have secured like a within 800 rank. Like there's so many. I know. So
And
overall, like
what
yeah,
about
tell me.
your parents? Did they support you in your journey? How was the
Yeah, of
contribution to
course, of
that?
course, of course. Like that, I think. I mean, they come first.
Because
Okay,
some
like
parents are really, they
I
pressure the
know, I
students a
know,
lot.
I
Yeah.
know, I
So
know, I know, I
how
know.
was it in your home? Like,
Hmm. No
because a
pressure,
lot of
absolutely.
parents also need to understand, because the
Yeah,
MBBS
absolutely. That
curriculum
is
is very different
very,
from all
very,
other
very difficult.
curriculums.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I think this is a very important point you have made. I would say parents like be proud that your son is a doctor. Okay? Like it's done. It's the pinnacle already. So there is no undue pressure. There is no need to add undue pressure because like each and every single one of us will do well. Okay, at least will not die out of hunger. Okay, that is the basic thing. At least some people will come with like maybe chest pain or maybe a stomach ache, and we can at least have our food. That is guaranteed. Okay, so that's the best part of it. I would say don't like pressurize your children because personally I had no pressure. Okay, absolutely no pressure. Like my father's a lawyer, so I had no pressure absolutely. Like again, it becomes difficult if you're like immediate. I mean, if your parents are doctors themselves, I know it's a bit of a tricky situation. I have heard. So personally, for me, it was not. Like my father is a lawyer. My mom's she has a business of her own. So for me, it was like a blessing. I would say that helped me grow actually, and I didn't have any stress. As to like I have to do this, I have to do that. There was no pressure. Absolutely. So that helped me actually. That was actually the main impetus I would say that really I mean, without your parents, it's very difficult, to like, actually perform up to your potential. So I would say definitely they come first when it comes to this achievement. Like without them, I couldn't have achieved this at all. Definitely, definitely, I would say that.
And what about your siblings, if you have any?
Uh, I don't have any sibling as such. Like I'm the only son. Okay. Again,
Okay,
like
so fresh motivation.
I live in a joint family. I live in a joint family itself. So like my aunt, my uncle. Again, like I said, my uncle is a dermatologist. Okay, so like I got the inspiration from him only to become a doctor. And like my cousin brother, like I mean, it's a very fun environment in my home. So that is a
Mhm.
big plus. I would say that's a big advantage I had. I would say that is the main advantage I had.
Okay, so what about at times when you're down and you feel like, nahi, ab mere se nahi ho raha hai, this is getting very hectic for
Hmm.
me. So what did
Hmm.
you do at that point of time?
Again, like I used to take a break. I used to take a break, talk to my parents and all, like talk about stuff, talk about traveling and all. I like to travel a lot. Okay, so I've been a lot of places. Again, and then I used to order stuff mainly from Swiggy and Zomato. That's my go-to thing. Okay, if I'm stressed, I eat a lot. That's all. So apart from that, I used to like again like watch a couple of good TV shows maybe, or maybe read a good book. Okay, or maybe listen to music. Like music's my thing actually, so I listen to a lot of music. So it helped me, like to gradually like break through that difficult period because like I would say like with the postponements and all the uncertainty of it all, like it was very difficult actually. So the past month I would say it was very difficult to like to keep that concentration, keep that thing, keep that motivation going. It was very difficult. So I used to do these like take some time out for my hobbies and all, take a break of a couple of days, and then once I'm feeling well, I used to get back to it.
So what kind of hobbies, like in particular?
Yeah, yeah. In particular, like I listen to a lot of music. I even create music sometimes on my iPhone
Great.
and all. Yeah, yeah.
Trust
Like
me, we
I
would
mean, I
like
was
to
the
hear
lead singer.
some. Mhm.
Yeah, sure, sure. I was the lead singer of my like school band back in the day a lot. So
We'll have a
Yeah,
separate session for that.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, we'll
Someday.
have a separate session for my someday, right? So with that, apart from music, again, I used to read a lot, okay, like books, stuff, like
What kind of
fiction,
books?
non-fiction,
Fiction,
all
non-fiction?
both. Like I'm more, I would say I'm more into Camus and all. Okay, Albert Camus and like stuff like that. But again, I like I mean, the thriller stories as well. I like Murakami. I like, yeah, there's a lot of diverse like interests when it comes to novels and all. So reading again, another of my hobbies, and definitely number three, eating. I used to like order stuff for random restaurants all the time. So that helped me a lot.
Great. So apart from studies, you were also doing some extracurriculars and you were
Of
basically
course, I
doing
was,
music
yeah, yeah,
and a
definitely.
lot
Like
of stuff.
I was
You were
also
not
in that.
avoiding social media.
Nope,
Everything was
nope,
normal. Everything was
nope.
normalized. Not like
Absolutely.
any other toppers who are restricting social media and all. So we
Is
have
that a thing?
definitely
Is that a thing?
discovered.
Is that a thing? Like people restricting social media? Okay, I'm not
There
aware
are
of that.
some toppers who I hear from them like they are not on social media or they do not even know what social media is. So
That is a bit extreme, I would say, but no, like one thing I would say, like for me personally, I think Telegram is a curse. Okay, it's a curse. It's a
it's
dangerous
a
place in
curse.
Tele. It's a curse, definitely. Like the
And
like
why would you say that?
controversies and all, because like I get to know from my friends about all the controversies that go on like in these Telegram groups. Okay, like people
Mhm.
saying stuff and all, like it's very confusing and it
Yeah,
actually
during the
demotivates
time
you.
when exams were
Exactly.
to schedule,
Postpone. Exactly.
it is
Exactly.
getting postponed. It is going to
Yes.
happen this
Yes.
month, that month.
Absolutely.
So during that time,
Absolutely.
you avoided those kind of
I don't
news,
like.
right?
Yeah, exactly. That's the main reason I don't even have Telegram because I feel that's a very toxic place. Like, unless like you, if I mean, if you're on Telegram, avoid these medical discussion forums because like people say a lot of stuff and like it sort of misguides you and all. So only I would say I like abstain from Telegram. That's the only place. But apart from that, I'm everywhere. That is the thing.
So what were your source of online material? If you were not on
Uh,
Telegram, if you wanted to refer any book or something,
mm,
you had to go to
mm,
library because
yeah,
like that time
I
colleges were
used
not open or maybe some libraries were not
mm,
open. So
I
what would you do that
use
time?
like there's this Medscape app. Okay, you can use Medscape. It's an
Hmm.
like the Medscape, the website. They also have an app. Okay, so that app has everything like the indications of the drugs, the doses, the dosage forms and all. It's there, so it's a good source. You can use Medscape. And apart from that, again, I mean, nowadays it's all about apps, right?
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
all about apps. It's all about apps. So it's there on your mobile. You don't have to like surf through social media all the time, right? So I think, I mean, and definitely you have Facebook, you have all the groups and clubs. So that's a very good source of all your content. So you don't have to run after anything else. I think that was sufficient for me. So I didn't really need like another source like Telegram to mess with my mind. Yeah, I would say that. Yeah.
Great. So far, it was definitely a great session with you. So,
Yeah.
anything that you would want to add as a conclusion?
So basically, it's just I would say these exams, they're just the beginning of something wonderful. Like you get into residency, you're finally able to do something which you want to do, like what you want to be. Finally, you're finally like able to join the stream of your choice. Like at least there's this excitement and there's this uncertainty. Like I don't know, like whether I'll be a very good doctor or a very good surgeon. I have no clue about that, but I'll try my best to be like as good as possible. So that enigma, it sort of is very very I would say very I would say motivating. I would say so. Definitely, just think of these PG exams as just a starting point to great things in life, and this point will come at one particular point of time very soon. I mean, it is about to happen. Okay, it's just a time of when. Okay, that's all. So I'm sure each and every single one of you, like the aspirants, the future aspirants, I mean, those who haven't done that well and as expected, just don't lose hope. Just take some time out and make sure that and just make sure that like you're like I mean just at the top of your game after a few days and just don't lose hope. Okay, just don't lose hope. Like I mean, it's not the end of the world. Yeah, it's not the end of the world. Okay, so just I mean, after a couple of days, just pick yourself up. I mean, just like I would say it's a really sad reality now. Like this has become a rat race or something because of the social perception and all. I mean, this has become. I mean, it's the environment is as such a bit toxic. I would say, like this constant pressure of having to go through these exams, the anxiety of it all. Like you have to get a PG seat, to do well in life and all. This sort of these shenanigans are definitely, I would say, very depressing. But at the same time, I would say each and every single one of us has like it. We have that extra edge to go beyond that and clear this like final hurdle in our life. And once we're done with that, I mean, I'm sure there are like greater things to come in the future. So like just keep hoping for a better future, and that will help you get to the present. I would say that's the best thing I would say.
Wonderful. So far it was really a great experience for me as well to know what are the techniques and tricks that doctors who are, topping in such exams like INICET. And we discovered a lot of things about you in this particular session. It was so amazing. And thanks a lot from the whole team of Inflame Medical Magazine, Federation of Medical Students Association, MedExplore Medical Conference, and Medicos United. We heartily thank you for taking out so much time and giving this interview and being present here with us. It was a
Yeah,
wonderful experience again. Thank you so much for joining. And this interview would also be put up on all our platforms and on our website, and would also be out as a special edition of Inflame Medical Magazine in a form of a Q&A interview. So you can also read this interview on our website that is called inflamemag.com. The links would be shared in your description. Thank you once again for joining. Stay tuned, stay healthy, stay updated, and keep studying. And most importantly, stay motivated and stay away from rumors.
absolutely.
Signing off
All
here
right,
is
and
your host, Alisha Lakhani, the founder of Inflame Medical Magazine. Thank you.